What's going on, guys? AM1000 back at it again. So I haven't been able to post for a while because I did have a surgery on my thumb. It's going well. Still currently in a cast, but I figured now that I'm able to play again a little bit, and it's been a very long time, maybe 4 or 5 months since I've done a unit guide as to which units you should try and go for as a newcomer to the game, and units that are good for territory wars. And now with the updated swamp ability for your pike units, it changes the game a lot. Cav used to be king, and Cav is still king, but if there was a queen, it would be pike units, you know? They're very good for the Brashios. You have your Lanchniks, you have your Imperial Pike Guard still. So we're going to go over some units, and we're going to go over some blue ones, and we're going to go over some of doctrines and stuff like that, and things that you should look for starting out. So, and keep in mind, I don't have everything unlocked. I am currently level 725. I'm working on getting some other units and stuff, but I do have the majority of them unlocked. I do have, let's see, every single unit in all the unit trees unlocked, other than this one cav, which I'll get. They're useless, but I'll get it. And as far as unit challenges, Falconetti for the Brashio, I already have Pavis unlocked through the thing, and Silidars and Sifahanari. So those are the only three I currently don't have, or 4. So we'll work on those. Go back over here. We're going to get these next. So we'll go through some stuff real quick. Imperial Spear Guard is actually really good this season, so I've started leveling them up. And Elite Palace Guards, they've actually become very viable again. They're not the greatest because they only have a charge ability, but their top tree,
we serve the Emperor,
has really good perks for fighting other units. Increased damage to infantry, can daze, shield bash. So they have some really good, and they can hit 2 units with a single strike. So they have some really good perks. I'm currently working on getting iron sides for them, so we'll get that. But let's go into it. One of the things that I suggest you do, if you can get up the silver, I wouldn't necessarily say purchase them, but if you can get 3, 4, 5 of these units, it will make getting bronze easy as hell, because each one of these units has a perk, which I believe is called Own Supply Line. Let's see. So what it does is they resupply themselves. You don't ever have to pay for them when they get destroyed. No kit loss, none of that. So that's why it's blacked out right here. And so I, in my build, use 3 of them: Martellatori, Black Dragon Archers, and Black Dragon Spearmen. If I got the other ones, I would do it. But I'm trying to get the Pike one, and the Pike one is 700,000. So, about halfway there. So let's go over this. Greens to get straight from the get-go. Greens: Elite Pike Militia and Elite Iron Cap Swordsman. Very easy to get. They're in your infantry, and they are right here. The reason being,
we will stand firm,
is that Pike Militia have this perk right here. They can hit 2 units with a single strike, and when they brace, they stun the enemy. So you brace them, and they'll stun everything. Very good green. And same thing goes for the Iron Tap Swordsman. I use them more, so I don't have them fully doctrined out anymore.
Provincial army.
Which basically they are going to play like a shock cav. They are all about their charge. It has like a 6-second cooldown, give or take. I think they bumped it up to like 7 or 8 or something, but all about their charge damage. And their charge can stun. So if you see like, you know, Martellatori or Serfs or anything pushing a siege tower, you can charge out with them, stun the entire line, pull them back, get like 10 kills, charge again. Very easy, very good green to start off with. Same thing with the Domain Spearman. Very good. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to get, Spear Militia is pretty good too for a starting unit that is a gray shield. And you can fit them in the build very easily. If you do not have Martellatori, and you can't afford it, Serfs or Woodcutters.
Ready to serve.
But Serfs have a charge, and they're pretty decent in combat for the gray unit that they are. But one thing that you will always need, and you could do 4, you could do 5, I do 4, and I run with a single cav unit because people will try to gank you out in the open world.
Ready to serve.
You need 4 to 5 Serfs, all on the bottom tree, up to level 7, so they get increased collected resources from all the nodes in the open world. And that's very important if you're going to be farming for your house to get prestige, or even if you want to get honor or unit kits. Serfs are the way to go for that. So, as far as green archer units, the only one that is even viable, Black Dragon archers. Everything else, they don't do enough damage. Archer units don't do enough damage even in a purple tier. So, bringing green ones where they're not even chipping away at someone's health is pointless. Cav, Couturiers, they can be good once you actually upgrade them fully on their top tree. I just don't care because I'm never going to use them. Selden Cavalry, very good blue unit. Does a lot of damage to infantry. And if you can get the Doctrine, where it does even more damage to infantry, you're in a good spot with this cav. So now we'll go to the blue units. And Selden is going to be in your seasonal 1 units, but we'll explain that in a little bit. So I will suggest seasonal units over the units in the unit tree, except for Prefecture Guard. Prefecture Guard are still very viable, very good. Prefecture Pikemen are okay, Halberdiers are okay, but Halberdiers can now get promoted to Lanchniks, and Lanchniks are phenomenal. So, we're going to go through the seasons, and these two are going to be from Season 1. Nampkins are my favorite unit by far. They have increased bleed damage, so when they start stacking on heroes, they can stack up to 15 times, and that ticks for like 3,000 damage. So they're great hero killers, great unit killers, which is why I have them fully blued out with a purple doctrine as well. And if you want to take a look at it again, those are the doctrines that I have. You can change it up to do whatever you want, but these work really well for me. And now we have Conqueror from the seasonal 3 units. The first one to get too, so very easy to get. And let's talk about this. You can go top tree, you can go bottom tree. Bottom tree makes them tankier, top tree makes them do their shock damage more often because it has cooldowns on it, and it does way more damage. So, top tree it makes them a shock unit. You know, they'll run in, hit the shock, which is their shield bash ability. So their shock attack, shield bash. They'll destroy units, but you'll have to pull them out because they won't be able to really stay in and fight after that cooldown's done. Whereas with Prefecture Guard,
Serve with honor.
their main tree, top tree is really good. It's going to make them a shock unit as well. You're basically only going to be able to use them to attack and pull them out or they'll die. The middle tree makes them super tanky, reduces the cooldown of Prefecture Drill, so they still have Prefecture Drill, which increases their attack speed. But they also get this at the end of their tree. It's going to allow them to attack 2 units with a single strike. What? Sorry, my daughter needed me for a second. Alright, so now the next blue unit that Janissaries are good. I will say that. I just don't use them. They're good. So all seasonal units that are blue pretty much play like a purple unit. Even the new one, the Sons of Fenrir, I don't use them, but I see a lot of people use them, and they're really good. What they're good for is killing ranged. So a lot of people who bring Namkins, a lot of people who bring Janissaries. You get your Sons of Fenrir, they do the leap, they jump on them, and then they start murdering all that range. So they're really good range killers. Lanchniks, super good hero killers, and because of the buff that they got right here, Swamp, they can actually do decently against Cav now. And when a Cav unit rushes in and hits everybody and stuff, say you got Winged Hussars or Liaos and they run in and they're killing everybody, you can actually send them in and hit Stab and Hook and make them bleed and slow them down even more because of Swamp and Stab and Hook. So they are really good. The thing is though, so you have to set them down. You have to brace them in order to charge. So what I did, because if you have to brace them, why not give it to them? So bracing now stuns them. The bottom line, I believe, has a stun already built into it. Let me see. No, when they're braced, they can hit 2 units. So it's good. And you could do them, but they're a blue unit. You really don't want to use them as a bracing unit. So I pretty much just gave it to them, so when I put them down into a brace, if somebody tries to attack them, they'll still be able to stun them. And then they charge. So, very good unit for that. So far, we have your Conditori, your Namkins, your Janissaries, your Lanchniks, your Sons of Fenrir, and even the Selimshid Cavalry. Now, Selimshid is just going to be for sieges. They're fun, and they're a low blue unit to use, but they're not great. The only one that I would even suggest bringing to Territory War if you needed a throwaway unit, or even something that's viable, would be Namkin or Lanchniks. Just because anti-cav, and they can kill heroes as well. Their brace and charge will instantly kill a single hero, or 3 heroes, if they charge into them. Namkin, bleed effects will murder a lot of people. So if you have people just charging in, or if you have a whole bunch of Imperial Pike Guards piled up in one spot, just put your Namkins there. Start bleeding away and chipping away at all of them. Alright, so let's go into the purple infantry. There is only one purple infantry here that I do not have that I would suggest, and that is Fortebraccio. Fortebraccio, right here,
Strong arms.
which
And a
I
long
could pay
reach.
off and get, but they are the best bracing unit to deal with Cav. They have a really tight formation. This one right here, the block formation, and then you just brace them. Cav cannot get through it anymore because of Swamp. So Fortebraccio are phenomenal. Now, let's go back to our units. Stalwarts. king of infantry. I will. Stalwarts have been so dominant for the past 3 seasons that I don't see them ever being under S or A tier. Stalwarts, paladins, even Imperial Spear Dart are decent now, so I'd say they're like A tier. Imperial Pike, S tier, because they have an advance ability. The advance ability will actually stop cav in their tracks. And this right here, I go with the top tree just because their advance can't be stunned by ordinary attacks. So there's certain units like Seregs that can knock you down and stuff like that. But you mainly use them for cav. You advance into cav and you pull them back out. You can go with the bottom tree. It makes them a lot tankier, but I found that they can't kill anything. So they just stop a cav unit, but the cav unit will end up just going right through it afterwards. At least with this, when you're actually advancing into the cav, it will kill the majority of the cav. And so now that brings us to... Berserkers are... They're like AZAPs. They're fun. They're good. They're not great. They're okay. Same thing with Palace Guards. But Palace Guards only cost 235 leadership, which is why a lot of people were using them again, because of the low leadership cost and the fact that they're pretty tanky and can kill a lot of units. And let's see. So now we're going to come down to your ranged. Purple ranged. There's not a lot of options, really. And then there's... like... these two are viable. Somewhat. For Arquebusiers, you need to have a shield unit in front of them to make them viable. You go bottom tree, they get the extra chance to have another round on their volley fire. Increase volley damage. Volley rate of fire as well. It's all about the volley and then cavalry damage. So, really good if you can get a shield unit in front of them and you get this doctrine right here to increase their shooting accuracy by 20%. And on top of having to do that, because they have poor shots, you need to get this node completely maxed out. So it gives it another 15%. So you're looking at 35% in total better accuracy if you do it that way. So, really good unit. And we'll go into the purple cav now. Purple cav. There's a lot of them. But the only two that even matter, yeomen that turn into Armored Lancers when they're promoted. Armored Lancers can hit 2 units. They have a charge. They have a gallop, so you can pull them out or you can charge them in with gallop. And after gallop, they immediately go into cover commander. So they sporadically spread out and start attacking everything around that area and then come back to you. Same thing with the charge. What you can do is you can charge them in, and once the charge is done, hit cover commander. They spread out, they start attacking, and they run back to you. That's why everybody goes top tree, for the hit to 2 different units and all this other stuff that makes them phenomenal. They're basically like baby winged hussars, but when they're actually done with their charge, they're still viable. Whereas winged hussars, you just charge and pull them out immediately. Sipahis are good. I just haven't cared enough to level them, but they are good. They are, I would suggest going to the bottom tree. Top tree makes their, I think it's Crowpaid. Makes their Crowpaid last longer, and that's about it. So, like, when you go in, you hit that, they're a little bit tankier. But the bottom tree, so you'll see right here, increases damage dealt to infantry, reduces time on quick charge, increases your blunt damage, which is going to be your Crowpaid, increases the health, increases damage to infantry, and then after using your quick charge, you get a damage increase by 15% for 8 seconds. So what you do is you would quick charge them in, you would hit Tropade, and then pull them out. So they'll charge in, they'll kill a whole bunch of stuff, you hit Tropade, they'll stomp on the ground, kill more things, and then you pull them out. With this one, you kind of want to keep them in, and then they're just going to die. So not very viable. So now we'll go into some tier 5 units. Right now, Keshes are not on top anymore. They haven't been for about 2 or 3 seasons. Rat and Rangers, you'll still see them out in field battles because they can kill heroes that are running cav very easy. If they get caught out without their cav, Rat and Rangers will destroy their mount, then murder the hero. Very viable. Now we have Winged Hussars, still king, still phenomenal. Monastics are A tier. They're just always going to be A tier because of their kit. They have a charge, decent charge, but their thing is they are so tanky that you can charge them in, and if you forget to pull them out, they'll still kill a bunch of units and survive. Laos Rangers, the only thing that can really stop Winged Hussars. And then on top of that, they have guns that can shoot enemies from a distance. And so on top of that, you have a charge to charge in. And they also have bludgeon, where they smash down into heroes, units, and massacre them. So I would suggest Winged Hussars and Lao Rangers. And there you go. Now, as far as your ranged, Tercios have gotten better. That's why I'm going to level them.
By sword and musket.
But Pavis are still king. If you get double shot for them, they murder everything. Now, Falconetti are your go-to for sieges, for breaking walls. Always going to be a phenomenal unit to have. I do need to unlock them. And let's go to Silidars. Silidars can pretty much beat any infantry unit there is. Silidars are that strong. They can stop a lot of cav too. And then we'll go over to Sifanari. For a defensive unit, they are phenomenal. Even pushing into like tight spots, if you have stalwarts pushing with Fort Brasio and stuff, these guys will clear the way for your braced units to keep moving forward. Or if any units get past the braced units in a defense, they will burn them to a crisp. Phenomenal unit. So let's go over this again real quick. What you should be starting with, working towards. Pike Militia, Iron Cap. Now, from there, you could go into Perfect Your Guard, but what I suggest you do with your honor after you get these two, get Spear Sergeants. You could even get Men-at-Arms if you want to, but get Spear Sergeants and get them to the promoted Stalwart unit. Because the promoted Stalwart unit is going to be right here, and it's right after Zyclam Militia. So you will get them super quick. And then, if you want a cav unit, Yeoman. You can get Yeoman. But there is the free tier 5 in your F4 challenges. Once you get to the Path of Wisdom, you'll be able to unlock a tier 5 golden unit, Winged Hussars. I cannot stress that enough. Winged Hussars. And now I've heard that they took out the purple unit from this, which really is sad. But if it's still in there, Imperial Pike Guard. But if it's not, just get Imperial Pike Guard as your second purple unit. Very easy to get because you'll have Pike Militia, you go to Perfection Guard, Imperial Pike. After you get your Pike Militia, Iron Cap, Imperial Pike, Stalwarts, and your Tier 5, or even in between somewhere if you're wanting to have more units to do things with, go to your challenges. Work on the season that is currently out. But when there's things that you can't do or can't progress on, immediately come back to whichever one is reduced, get your Conditori, and then your Nampkin Archers. And I will stress this, Nampkin are OP, overpowered for what they are. So definitely go with that. So greens, Iron Cap, Pike Militia, Imperial Pike Guard, Spear Sergeants into Stalwarts, and you can even do Paladins from Men at Arms if you want to go that route as well. You really have nothing to worry about here, just get Nampkins. Here you can get Yeomen to have Armored Lancers. Very good unit. But that's pretty much it. Get your Winged Hussars from your F4 challenges. And make sure you have your Pike Militia, your Iron Cap Swordmen, your Imperial Pike, and your Stalwarts. Once you have Imperial Pike and Stalwarts, your Territory War viable, in all honesty. And then you'll be able to start working on other units as you progress and gain more levels, gain more experience, gain more honor, and all that stuff. Oh, I didn't even mention the Imperial Javelins or the Javelin Sergeants. They are really good. Two key differences in them. Javelin Sergeants are meant for killing units. Imperial Javelineers, killing heroes. They have less ammo, but they're more accurate, and they can kill heroes real easy. But they are also better in melee combat than Javelin Sergeants. If you leave these guys in combat, they'll still kill things. If you leave these guys in combat, they'll just die. They are basically archers. You pull them with you, shielded archers. You pull them with you, throw off a few volleys. They have a double volley, and then you go and get your ammo again, and you do the same thing. Rinse and repeat. So, I think we covered everything as far as all the units and what you should start working towards right away. Now, these are a viable alternate to Pike Militia and Iron Cap Swordmen, but they're not better. So, which is why I would say that. Rattan, Round Shields, and Rattan Pikemen. Because they have poison. So they're good. And now that there's bracing doctrines and charging doctrines and stuff like that, you can turn your Rattan Pikemen into a really good unit. You just have to waste purple doctrines on them. So, like I said, go with that. If you guys got any questions, or if you disagree with me on something, go in the comments. Let me know what you suggest. But I figured I'd help out some newer people. The game's getting bigger. People are joining more and more. So it's a beautiful thing. If you like what you see, comment, subscribe, join the channel. I'm trying to just grow the community. Love Conqueror's Blade. It's a great game. And I appreciate you guys. And I'm out. Take care.